maybe let me just go to our next presenter, and that will be Filippo Furri. And maybe also quickly before I bring in Filippo, just to say for all our panelists, as you speak, if you have any resource materials, please do feel free to post them in the chat box, any reports that have been produced to explain the kind of work that you do in the area of international cooperation, but also in general to find out the different activities that your organizations are engaged in relation to GCM Objective 8 on saving lives, and international cooperation for on missing persons. I think Filippo Furri, I started a bit of the intro, and Filippo, I don't think we can do justice to your to an intro here, and so maybe I would just ask that, you know, as you talk to us about Migre Europe, maybe you give me the correct pronunciation for that, and a coalition that you have formed called Boat for People, Boat for People Coalition, where you have done a lot of significant work in the Mediterranean, particularly to prevent migrant deaths, but also to support the migrant family members in locating the missing migrants. And in this way, do you think that you can just identify for us, you know, what are the areas of improvement which you see in terms of the both organizations that you're involved in and the other things that you're working on in relation to GCM 8, on how we could sort of be a bit more geared to realizing this task at hand? Filippo, if you could just give us your interventions.
Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for the intervention of the previous speakers. And about the first point, let's say, saving lives, I think that the intervention of Elisa, I mean, clarify another situation. I think as Migre more, so we are an organization who work on analyze the European policy concerning migration, control of migration, and externalization of the control of migration. So the scape is almost clear. So as Migre, so Migre is a network of organization from the north and the south of Mediterranean and the West Africa. And our work is trying to criticize and analyze the European policy on migration. And it's easy to say for me that saving life, I mean, if we are talking about European border regime, is a little bit hard to not say that they are not helping to saving lives, let's say. In order to, so if we analyze the externalization of control in Niger or let's say in the North Africa, the situation in Libya, who produce many I mean, critical situation, let's say, and the situation of in Mediterranean Sea, we can say that the border regime is a subject who produce this kind of dangerous situation and that. And as Migre, I send you a link about our paper concerning I mean, we are working and we are defending the organization operating for solidarity, and we try to support and fight against the criminalization of solidarity. So we try to support the NGOs who are doing a great job when they can do it in Mediterranean. And the problem is that the border regime stopped them, and we create a kind of gray zone in Mediterranean, where it's hard to witness about violation and situation of danger of for the persons. Let's say we have a case, a lost boat between Algeria and Sardinia 3 days ago. Is a kind of the last example of this kind of danger situation. But about missing, so it's the second step is concerning more the work that we do with Boat for People. Is a coalition of organization in the north and south of Mediterranean. We start to work, and our purpose, our idea is to after 2011 to defend the rights of migrants at the sea. And after the most important shipwreck in 2013, 2015, we start to try the way to help directly families. So we produce a guide, information guide for families and for association, try to give to the families the information they need to search, not to find, but to search. And we work on the Central Mediterranean in particular. You can find, you change your, sorry. Okay. You can find the guide, the paper guide, and website and online guide on our website, but I put in the chat the link just later. What I try to point with you concerning missing migrants today and what we can do to help families is first, about the guide was, the idea is to give the tools to the family to search better. So we produced this guide, but we discovered that sometimes families don't know nothing about them because they lost the contact with the relatives, and it's very hard for family to find the information concerning the relatives who are missing. So we try to think as let's say Columbus. I'm Italian, so I'm using Columbus. So the idea is try to go on the other way. We discovered that for example, and this is the Catania project I have with the Make Me project, we try to map the situation of burials of migrants in Catania, and we discovered that during the investigation and during the search and rescue and disembark operation, we lost many information. The information that are collected by the different actors on the disembarkation place are just lost and split in different actors. So we try to collect all the information and produce a kind of local database concerning only the 270 bodies that the municipality of Catania buried in the local cemetery. So this is one of the problems we have, and the other is that during the investigation, the persecutor and let's say police are just focused on the smuggler, let's say, and the situation of to find the smuggler and so on, and they lost completely all the information. They are not searching for the information concerning the missing person on the bodies, on the dead people. So this is another problem we have, and we need to straighten this capacity to collect information, okay, to collect information and try to organize this kind of information. So what we are trying to do is collaborate, and we are collaborating with both of people with the missing person project of ICRC. Trying to one side try to normalize the collection of data in the forensic systems, try to collect the information and be able to access to all the information that we can have concerning, let's say, bodies. And on the other side, we try to let's say protect witnesses and survivors. Because the witnesses and survivors are the people, they have, I mean, the most information concerning the missing and the dead people, but they are treated like just illegal migrants, no protection. They don't trust in the let's say national institution. They are completely cut off this system. There's a kind of black hole. So we try to modify even the concept of family. We feel that this person are in a relation with the missing, and they have many information. They can help to find families and to help family to go to the body and help for the identification, the formal identification. And on the other side, we consider that they need help too, because they are survivors after the shipwrecks and so on. And the third point, we try to touch is the connection with diaspora for the same reason. So it's harder to go serve the family in the country of the party because the migrant and the missing are turned on diaspora to the destination point. So probably it's important to straighten the trust between the locals, diaspora, and the civil society organization, and the actors who can be who collect information, as ICRC, for example, and try to help for identification. And one of the most important point is the logic of firewall, let's say. So try to create a kind of platform or a kind of subject between families and let's say irregular migrants, or who are exposed to criminalization and so on, and the institution who can help and find families. Try to protect the witness and keep information to find families and to help families. So this is the picture of our work in general, and in my particular work on Catania. I will share with you the Boat for People guide and maybe some more information that we can discuss after.
Filippo, thank you for that insight into the project. But I think it's and we can I guess go on and on to ask some different questions. And I think you went on ahead to explain a little bit to us. I wondered how the review has been in terms of the usefulness for families in this guide that was provided. So how different is it going in terms of search, in terms of the numbers that are at least being searched for? But then maybe before I ask that question, there was an interesting question that I have just seen pop up in the screen that talked to identification, and that comes from Dr. Tulika Goa, who talks about how far can saving lives really be a reality if the documentation is not in place, and how information is collected of a missing person, especially when his or her documentation is not available. Or has been forged in this case. And I think this goes also to speak to the identification, the fact that these migrants in the first place may not even have the right identity card or identification document with them. So how far is this a challenge in your work in just addressing this question that Dr. Tulika has asked in the chat box?
It's a very hard question. I mean, the problem of let's say fake identity or not, the haraga, the concept is to burn our papers. Why? To be invisible. So more or less the families and the migrants accept the fact that they will be invisible during the route, because they want to escape to the border regime and border control. So this is something they know. So how to in the future, how we can create a kind of safe connection between families and migrants, try to save the identity, to keep the identity safe, even if they hide their own identity during the travel and in the routes. For the situation we have, the problem is exactly this one. So we identify let's say in Italy we have I don't want to speak about numbers, but just to remember that in Italy the 75% of still missing. So we have 25% of bodies, more or less. And we have the, let's say, correct identification, because it's very difficult, of, let's say, 20% of this 25%. Okay? So the rest 18% is unknown. Okay? The problem is how to find the correct identity if you don't have the connection with families. That's why the idea is try to work with the people that they have information concerning this person, Not probably the right one, not probably the complete one, but start to to compose a kind of puzzle of identity and try to reach the family by this connection. And there is a kind of very interesting project by the ICRC Forensic Office concerning the analysis of data, try to understand this mass of information we can catch in a different place and try to understand who is the person, and try to find the family, let's say, trying to find the family just to prove that the person is the person, and do the legal and formal identification. So it's very complicated, even in the theoretical way. Is kind of because it's completely different from the logic that, for example, ICRC and the Red Cross movement apply during the war cases. They know because the family know that the relatives was fighting in the specific place, so we know where the person probably is, and we start to reflect more in the same logic of the we mentioned the Anthropology, the Argentina, Equipo Argentina de Antropología Forense. We try to think in the, and apply the method that they have, try to compose understand the movement. That's why there's this kind of collaboration between the organization working on migration and the ICRC staff, for example, try to find a way to apply the methods and techniques of ICRC to the migration. Is it clear? It's a little bit okay. I don't know if I can.
Thank you, Filippo. I think we will also ask other panelists to sort of to see if we can ring fence on this one. And I will ask Julie as well to sort of prepare, as this one of the questions that we probably will ask. I like that you have made reference to the ICRC program, and maybe Filippo, for you later, we just come back to you later as you will give some remarks later. Maybe you could speak to us. We understand that there was some policy recommendations that were made in this space, in the missing migrant space, by ICRC, and I think a lot of reference to that program as well. And I think these recommendations came out in June 2020, and we wanted to just, I think it would be interesting for the audience here to find out, what do these recommendations really speak to. I mean, we do know that the focus is on missing migrants and their families, and very much related to Objective 8. But how collaborative is the space in terms of who ICRC is engaging? We know that you are an expert on that, so we hope that you can give us a bit more in terms of understanding who participates in this, who participated in putting these policy recommendations together, and also some of the specifics in terms of, let's say, reducing the so-called missing on the road migrants that are very evident in different parts that ICRC's program also covers, from Mediterranean, Central American routes, and so on. So maybe you could come back to us later and just speak a little bit more into this one.